What's up, YouTube family? I'm here to talk you through how to make your hair grow faster. So, I'm a barber. My background was in business and stuff. I got really into hair, and I went to barber school, learned a bunch. I talk a lot of people through different hairstyles, how to grow their hair quicker, how to make sure that it's healthy throughout that whole process. So, first thing, I want to make sure that you know that you're on a journey. And I want you to know that hair in general grows about a half an inch a month. So if you're expecting your hair to grow an inch or two a month, it doesn't really grow that much outside of that spectrum. So if you're doing the things that we talk about in this video, then you can get to the quicker end of that spectrum. But that's the average, is a half an inch a month, right? You want to make sure your expectations are set there. But the first thing that you can do to make sure that your hair grows as quickly as possible is make sure that you're not cutting it unless you're trimming the ends. So if there's something you need to trim the ends for because they're starting to split, because they're starting to break off, so it's kind of like the end of a shoelace, you know, when that starts to look all poofy, you might need to snip it so that you got a healthy shaft, because the shaft of the hair will split and go further and further down and undo some of the growth if you don't cut it and then make sure that it's healthy enough to keep growing. So don't cut it unless you need to trim the end. The second thing is make sure that you're taking care of your scalp. So your scalp is what processes your hair. So it's kind of like the factory that creates the hair. So you want to make sure that it's not clogged up, that it's not backed up, and that it's not doing more work than it needs to do, if that makes sense. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your scalp clean, but not overdoing it to the point where you're drying your hair out and where it breaks off. So keep your scalp healthy. And then the third thing we're going to do is figure out what your hair type is and figure out how much hydration and sealant you need. So your hair, it has an outer layer, a middle layer, and some of them have a very center layer. But in order to keep that whole area healthy, you want to make sure that you lock and seal the moisture in or out, and that you know how quickly water moves in and out of your hair, so you can understand what it is you're trying to do. You don't want too much oil to just sit on the outside of your hair, and you don't want too much oil or too little oil to be able to go inside of the shaft. So just make sure you figure out what your hair type is and your porosity. So if you have really curly hair, a lot of people tend to have higher porosity, but that has to do with the shape of the hair follicle. So the straighter hairs have a circular hair shaft, and then the curlier hairs have a more oblong or kind of oval type of shaft, so it curls over itself. So I hope this helps. If you see that your curly hair doesn't seem to be growing as fast as somebody with long hair, that's just because it's growing in coil. So it'll still grow about the same amount. Like people who have straight beard hairs, they'll grow straight down and it'll look like they're having more growth compared to somebody whose hair is growing in a coil, and then they'll have to brush it or stretch it out or use some type of heat or training, with a brush to make sure that it looks as long as somebody with straight hair. So the same thing happens on your head. So just make sure that you're doing those things. And then the bonus tip is always to make sure you're getting the right amount of nutrition. So making sure you're getting your micronutrients and your macronutrients. I'm not going to go too far down that road, but make sure you're staying hydrated, that you're getting your micronutrients and your macronutrients. So those things. Hair is made out of different types of proteins, keratin, and some other things. So check those out if those seem like things you're lacking. So make sure you get those taken care of, and the other three things, and you should be well on your way, as long as you're patient, to having healthy, happy, longer hair. All right. Let me know what questions you have. I'll get back to you as quickly as I can down in the comments. Let me know, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right. Peace.